In this section I am going to talk about controllers and how MVC is implemented in Angular with a very small example. For that, let me do the same thing again. Let me copy the folder of modules to 4 controllers so that we can resume our work, and so that the our old work is saved as well in folders. There is a space between minus and R. So now we just have copied the whole code into controllers, and let me open the index.html of this folder. Open. Yeah. So this is the index.html, and in app.js we have created the module. Now it's time to create a controller. So what a controller, what's a general job of a controller in MVC? So it's generally to receive all the user interaction, to acknowledge all the user interaction and do something for it, right? And it generally acts uh, as a uh, as a bridge between model and view also. So let me create a controller for you. So all the other entities are created on the module object. For that we need a uh, module object. Let's call it books card book, and we'll create all the other entities on books card. So first we'll create a controller, and there is a method controller on this module object which takes two parameters. First is the name of the controller. Let's call it book ctrl, and a function. So this function has a dependency on $scope. It's a inbuilt Angular object, so I'll talk about it. So this is how you create a controller, right? And in index.html, for example, let me delete this for now. You want to bind that controller to a part of HTML. So there is a inbuilt attribute which comes from Angular called ng controller equal to the name of the controller, book ctrl. So ctrl is basically short form for controller, and this is the controller. Uh, Now this controller is basically bound to this part of HTML which acts as the view. So whatever I put on $scope, so it's an object. Whatever I add, whatever keys I add on $scope, that is directly available in the view. For example, scope dot message equal to hello world. So in the corresponding view, message is available directly to be printed. For example, if I print the message like this, and if I refresh the page, So if I print the message here, uh, if I refresh, I see hello world here, right? So this is how you create a controller, and this is the view for that controller, right? So this is the controller, this is the view, and in Angular for models, plain JavaScript objects are used. Plain JavaScript objects, strings, numbers, they are used. So here message is the model. So we have just implemented MVC in Angular. I'll repeat: message is the model. This book controller is the controller, and this section of HTML is the view for that controller. Uh, let's further instead of a string, let's create an object which will behave as a model, which will act as a model. So let's create a book object which has a title, The Alchemist. It has an author, Paulo Coelho. It has a price, let's say $23, and it has a rating, let's say it's 4. So this is the book object, and here if I print the book object in index.html, let's see what is the result. So here I see the whole object, but generally the job of the view is to beautify the model, right? To present the model in a presentable format. So let's try to do that as well. So let me create a div. uh, div book dot title. So since we have an access to the book object, we also have access to its property, which is title. Let's have it as bold. Right. Let's have a row, or let's have a line for author as well. Author. Let's have a line for price. As a normal text, and let's have a line for rating as well. So let's see how it looks like now. So it looks like a proper view right now, right? And let's also give a horizontal rule here. Looks fine. So on the top also, let me give a horizontal line. Cool. So now the view has almost done its job. So I'll repeat. So inside app.js, inside this is the controller, this is the model, scope.book, this is the model, right? And coming back to the HTML, this is the view. Sorry, this is the view, the selected part of the HTML. This is the view for that controller, and the binding between view and controller is done using the attribute ng controller, which comes from angular.main.js, and here is the output. So I hope controllers are clear, and how MVC is implemented in Angular is clear.